So now that we have this carousel in here, but we only have 3 photos, it's time to bring in a 4th item. What's great is we kind of already looked at this and found that this entire div of a carousel item controls adding a carousel piece and a photo. It includes a photo and includes a caption. So I'm going to take this last div, mine's roughly on line 76, before I get to my carousel buttons, and I'm going to click on it to show myself where the ending div is, and then I'm going to select all of that information. I'm going to copy it and go directly after it. This is important because you don't want to go in, you want to be inside this other div here of the carousel inner. I'm then going to hit enter and I'm going to go ahead and paste it. And instead of it being giraffe 3, I'm going to change it to giraffe 4 and go ahead and put 2 giraffes together. Once I do that, I can change this also from 3rd slide to 4th slide, so I know it's the 4th one, and same thing here for 3rd to 4th. Now, when you do this, you'll find that your carousel probably stops. It probably stops cycling through. So let's save it. Let's go to the web and look at it and check out what's going on. When we open this up, it starts working and we should be able to really cycle through our photos. So I can cycle through and I can get to the 4th photo, but then it doesn't keep cycling and actually my buttons stop working at this point. And there's no 4th indicator down here for that item. So what's important is that we not only can add a 4th item, but we have to tell the computer about that 4th item inside of the innards and slides and all those kinds of things. So let's explore a little bit. Let's scroll back up to the top of this carousel. When you have the carousel, it opens up, it has carousel indicators, and it has a slide 1 indicator, a slide 2 indicator right here, and a slide 3 indicator, but it doesn't have a slide 4. And we just added a 4th slide. So I'm going to take this last button inside of the carousel indicators and I'm going to copy it, go down, and I'm going to paste it. Now, logically, if slide 1 is data BS slide to 0, slide 2 is 1, slide 3 is 2, slide 4 would be 3 here, and it would say slide 4. So you're just thinking logically what would be the next step if I added another button. Let's save it and go refresh and let's try it again. Now you have 4 indicators down here. Let's cycle through and now you're able to cycle through all 4. Really easy peasy. What you may be finding as you're cycling through is that some of these pictures are shorter than others or taller. And that can create an issue and inconsistency in your carousel. You want your carousel to be very fluid. So how could we fix it so that these pictures have the same height? Not necessarily width, because width is going to adjust as the page adjusts. We want to make sure they have the same height so that they're consistent as we cycle through them. How could we do that? What's kind of funny is a lot of people are like, oh, let's go into the CSS or let's go into the tag, let's control the height, but that could distort it. Also, that's a lot of work. Instead, why don't you just fix your pictures, right? So let's think about the pictures that we have. If I go into the assets folder, I know that these pictures are roughly the same size, but like I can even see that this one's slightly shorter than this one. So I'm going to take these 4 files and I'm going to open them in Photoshop and I'm going to edit them so that they have the same dimensions. And when I say dimensions, I don't mean that they actually have to have the same pixel size. I guess I mean that they need to have the same ratio of dimensions. So they need to have the same ratio so that Bootstrap, when it resizes it and makes it fit inside that carousel, they are the same. So I'm going to open up Photoshop and I'm going to take my files and I'm going to drag and drop them into Photoshop. That'll then open all 4 of them. Once they're all 4 open, I will be able to crop them, okay? And when I do this, I'm going to go ahead and go to my crop tool, which is the 5th tool down. And up at the top here, you have ratio. You have ratios that are already pre-made for you. And we're going to do a 16:9 ratio because that tends to be what a screen is made of. So I'm going to go ahead and crop that. I'm going to hit enter to crop it. Do the same thing here. Crop that one, crop this one, and you can see it's slightly too large. And go to this one and crop it as well. Once all four are cropped, I'm just going to save them. And when it asks me on the next screen how I want to save it with my options, I'm going to hit OK and do the same thing over and over again for each tab. And once I've saved each one, I can then go back to the web, refresh my page, and let's check out how this works. Now you have no adjustment occurring. It's just cycling through the pictures. You could add the information down here, do all of those kinds of things for the labels, and control that carousel. But at this point, you've now added a nav bar and a carousel with doing little to no coding, and it looks good. That is the beauty of Bootstrap.